In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 things you can do to find your purpose that will change your life. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the 3 main things you can do that I've been studying, that I've been doing in my own life that allowed me to find my purpose. And right now, in life I do what I love. I get up every day, I make videos, I get to travel the world. I just got into this new house. It's my first night here actually. Maybe one day, let me know if you want me to do maybe like a house tour of this new house or something like that. I don't know if I've ever done that on YouTube, but let me know, maybe I'll do one. But in general, I live a very abundant life and it's come from me acting on my purpose and doing that consistently. And a lot of people reach out to me and say, how do I find my purpose? What do? I feel like I'm working a 9-to-5 job I'm not passionate about. I feel like there's something else I'm supposed to be doing. There's like a mission that I have here. I feel like I'm destined for greater things than where I'm currently at. And I feel resistance. What do I do about that? And you say that you have to find what your purpose is and do your passion. And when you do that, you can then, have an abundant life. But I don't even know what that is. Well, these 3 steps I share with you today, and one of them is something I'm very much just recently got into, and I'm pretty fascinated by it. I'll explain it to you in a minute. The first thing you can do that I tell everyone that asks me, you've probably heard me say it before, I'm going to get this one out of the way before I move into the next one, is simply set intention. We're going to go over the purpose. Intention. Set intention. Set the intention to find out what it is. The way that our mind works is our mind and our higher self will show us a reflection of whatever we set the intention to find more information out about. Here's the thing too. We are all connected to what we call our higher self. We all have a higher self. Let's get a little esoteric here. You guys want to go down the rabbit hole? Let's get a little bit esoteric here. So we come into this reality, and when we do, we have that of this is going to get pretty esoteric here, but this is something you can read in the book, The Law of One. We have a 6th density higher self. 6th density higher self. And if this sounds a little bit outside your belief system, I totally understand that it sounds crazy, but just bear with me for a second. So we have a 6th density higher self. Right now we are in 3rd or 4th density. We are shifting between those. That's why we're here on the planet right now, is to go through this transformation of consciousness. And if you read the books, The Law of One, there's 5 books in it, you'll see it's very kind of heavy, advanced understandings of all this. But we have a 6th density higher self. And then what we do is we come into this reality and we forget who we are. We forget that we are eternal spiritual beings living temporary human experiences. And we incarnate into a reality, into 3rd or 4th density. And in 3rd or 4th density, we play the game of separation and we use our body, which is our avatar in this lifetime. Our body, the way that we interpret reality through the 5 senses, this is the way that we interpret our reality. However, when we come here, we forget that we are eternal spiritual beings. We forget we have this connection to our higher self. And therefore, we live a reality sometimes where we find out a lot about who we are not. We may go through painful pasts. A lot of people that go through spiritual awakenings have had a painful childhood or gone through some type of pain in the past. And that pressure a lot of times will allow people to break out of it. Now, I'll tell you right now as well, I believe that most people's purpose in life, beyond just like, is it to have this kind of job or is it to do this? I believe that underneath that purpose, people have the intention of raising their vibration and going from 3rd density to 4th density. It's going to this higher state of consciousness. 3rd density, 3D, is more of duality. It's more of separation. It's more of good, bad, light, dark, up, down. There's a certain level of control. 3D is also symbolic of the solar plexus. Now, when we go into the 4D, which is what we're moving into right now, 4D, we have that's connection into our heart. It's more connection into our connection to other people. Separation over here in duality, connection in 4D. And it's more about unity. So instead of duality, it's more about understanding that everything is connected and everything is whole. Now, this is what I believe we actually came for. So basically, that's what I think underneath your purposes of you doing a certain job or you owning your own business or whatever it is, I think it's going from 3 to 4D for everyone that is watching this video right now, especially because if you're watching this video, then I believe you came to be at the leading edge of this. As you go through it, it then influences people around you, and it's just going to be happening more and more. Now, we forget this though. We forget that we came here to go through this from our 6th density higher self, and what happens is we have this 6th density higher self, which in a way, our 6th density higher self is us. But we come here to have a certain experience. Now, our higher self, let's view it as this. Like, there's this mountain. I got this analogy from Bashar, if you've ever heard this analogy before. We're in the valley, and our higher self's on the mountaintop. It's got a big old head, but it's not egotistical. So what our higher self does is our higher self is sending our lower self, our ego self, a signal. That signal is the vibration of passion. When we follow our passion, doesn't mean that we have to, like I had to know I was making videos, or if I never knew that, then I never found my passion. What are you passionate about in the moment? Follow your passion. What sounds exciting to you? And when you do that, you are then in alignment to going quicker up towards your higher self. That's the idea, the alignment of the frequency your higher self is sending you. Now, sometimes, some things going on intuition will look a little bit nonsensical. That's because your higher self can see the valley, can see sometimes rivers, trees, and it can see the way to go. And sometimes it'll seem nonsensical because it'll be like, what do you mean go this way? It looks like that's the long way. But your higher self can see that if you go the way you're going, you're going to hit a big river. There's no way to get across. So the key is to trust your higher self, to trust this frequency that's coming down to you. Now here's the thing as well, is your higher self can only help you when you are open to it. You have free will while you're here. So if you sever the connection by believing I am just the ego, then your ego only gets you so far and you'll feel a lot of pressure. However, if you are open to the guidance of your higher self, so I'd say everyone here right now, ask for guidance from your higher self. Ask for your higher self to show you what your purpose is. Ask for your higher self to show you what it could be, signs of what it is. And then what you'll find is just an everyday reality. You may go to the coffee shop with your boys or your girlfriends, and at the coffee shop you hear someone in front of you talk about something. And when they start talking about that, you're like, wait, I'm kind of interested in that. I'm going to go read more books on that. And you start reading a book and it leads you to somewhere else. You never know where it could lead you, but if you start opening the dialogue between you and your higher self, you'll find that your life begins to change in a powerful way. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is something I've been into recently. And I know this is a permission slip, by the way. I know this is a belief system. Some people get, when I share this, some people, have different opinions about it. Numerology. I've been really into numerology reading. I have a numerology reading in like a week. However, numerology, I believe that from this level of when we incarnated, I believe there's certain templates that we may have set, certain symbols that we may have looked at in our collective reality that help us to understand our life. Now, these things do not have power over us. Numerology doesn't have power over us. However, numerology is a sign, I believe, or something we can look at. When I read my own numerology, it is dead on, spot on. From my life path number to my expression number to my destiny or my heart, my soul urge number, all of these things, the meaning of all of them, of your name. The idea is you chose your name when you came here, whether you realize it or not. You may have not chose your actual name, but you chose the vibration of your name, and your numbers add up to a certain number. It breaks down to a certain number, and that certain number has a certain vibration. That's then the way you show up in the world. And I do believe that we choose our name. Some people may not like their names. My mom hates her name. That's why she goes by a different name. But the vibration of her name has a lot to do with the trajectory of certain patterns that she may live within. And I know it's a belief system. I know it's a permission slip. However, it's one that I have been drawn to recently, and I think it's very powerful. I look at my own numerology. This house that I'm in right now, and I'll make a whole video about this soon. This house I'm in right now is an 8 house. An 8 house, if you look this up in your numerology of your address, it will break down to a certain number, and when it does, that number has a meaning. I've lived in, my last house was a 9 house. 9 house has to do with humanity and charity and putting out energy for the collective, which is very symbolic because I was making so many videos and I made a lot of content in there with that intention. Now, there's other houses that, numbers 1, 2, 3, all the way to 11 or whatever, and that have a certain meaning. 8th house is for abundance, growth, expansion, which is perfect for where I'm at right now in life. I was trying to decide between this and a 6th house. A 6th house is a house that is for families, settling down. And that's not my focus right now. So I chose this house, also with some other factors as well. But that was a main thing, because as I started to look more into my numerology, it resonated so much with me that I decided to apply it as a permission slip in other parts of my life. And who knows, maybe I just believe this is an abundant 8th house, and then that self-fulfilling prophecy creates more and more abundance and expansion in my life. I don't know, but it's a permission slip that I believe works. And I believe that most people can check their numerology and get really clear guidance as to what it could be. And that can start you on a positive path. There's this one thing that I've gone, it's a free numerology report that I've done, and it is super accurate. It's with somebody that is telling you, it's a voice thing, and explaining to you your life path numbers, what they mean, and gives you kind of like a forecast of your future in a way as far as the numerology goes. It's very interesting. It's been very accurate. If you want to check, I get DMs about this every day because I've shared it on Instagram before. If you go to aarondoughty.com/numbers, NUMBERS, aarondoughty.com/numbers, you can get that free numerology reading. And it gives you a really cool free reading, but then there's also an option to upgrade, which is real cheap, but it gives you a 100-page report on you, and it's really cool. So you can check that out by going to aarondoughty.com/numbers if you're interested. Also, I'll link it below in the top of the description box. But let me know, if you want me to make more videos on numerology. I'm not a numerology expert. However, I am passionate about this right now. I have, for the last week, been studying it quite a bit. I told, Victor Odo and his wife Patty, and Patty has been super into it as well, looking at all of her kids' numerology. It's something to take in consideration. I do believe, it may be just a belief, but when you name your kids, now of course I believe that the idea is that the kids actually impress the idea of the name they want upon their parents' subconscious mind. However, when you name their kids, your kids will have that name, and that vibration will affect them their whole lives. So, not that it means you have to completely control it, because I believe that if you just allow, I don't know, it's a whole separate side conversation. I have a lot of numerology I can share in that, but numerology, let me know if you want me to talk more about that, but it has to do with the numbers of your birthday added up, that's denominated down to a number, and then also it is the number of your name, the vowels in your name, those are the different numbers. But you can check that out. Like I said, you can go to that link to check out more about that. So numerology, I think, will give you a very clear sign as to what that could be. And then the third thing is step into unknown. How will this help you find your purpose? Well, when you radically step into the unknown, you do new things, you start to get new feedback. Now, imagine that this is you. Can you see that? Yes. Imagine you do the same things every day, feel the same emotions every day, think the same thoughts every day. You're going to have your identity within this little box. Now, the thing is your identity within this box is doing the same things. It's very comfortable. When you step outside this box, you begin to tear down all of these things that are keeping you within the same thoughts, feelings, and emotions. You only have access to certain information based on the current identity you have. The thing I recommend you do is step into the unknown and start to try new things. I recommend you combine this with the intention. Set the intention to find your purpose and radically do new things. If you've never done yoga before, or you thought maybe you would like to do yoga, but you never saw yourself as that kind of person, try it. You'd be surprised. I've met a lot of people that start doing things that they never thought they'd be into, and it's something they're passionate about. Step into the unknown and break apart the belief structure of your identity. Recently, I've been doing little things like this. This is just good in general for your own personal growth too. I've been doing things like 2019, I used to say that I'm not really a dancer. But then what I did is every opportunity I had, not every opportunity, but I went to that Tony Robbins conference, danced obviously for 6 days straight, had opportunities to do it when I was in Costa Rica, did it. I'm doing it because now I don't label myself as someone that's afraid to do that. And I used to always say I don't have rhythm. Don't I have rhythm right now? Can you guys see? I can dance the way I want. You see? And I step into that unknown, or do things that my old identity wouldn't do, and then it breaks apart my self-image for who I am. But when you do this, you start to get new feedback. So I'd say find something, not that you're scared of, you could find something you're scared of doing, that will break apart your identity, but find something you might be passionate about and start doing it. And you might find that, you know what, I thought I'd be passionate about this, but I'm only passionate about this aspect of it. But now you have feedback to figure out what that is. Start doing new things. Break out of the identity. Break out of your shell. Dance like this. Okay, this is how I dance. This is how I dance. We had this thing at Tony Robbins where you had to dance, and you'd have like a partner, and then they would have to mirror whatever you're doing. So we'd have to like do these weird old dances. It was so much fun. It was cool. But it breaks apart your identity. It breaks apart caring what other people think. Not just dancing, just doing unknown things that you're not certain of. So check out that numerology. These are 3 things you can do that will help you to transform your life using and find your purpose. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, peace, much love, and namaste.